And today we're going to try something a little different. I've got a story sent to me from a father that will be known as Simon for legal purposes. And I'm going to briefly read out some of the issues that he's been forced to endure and his daughters have been forced to endure based upon a narcissistic ex-partner that would much prefer to control the outcome and clearly hates him more than she loves her own children, because she would not like any form of contact from dad to the daughters with no reasoning as to why. Which is sadly a very common trait, because false allegations dictate family court proceedings. They're actually financially incentivized in the family court system. And as we've already previously spoken about, they're financially endorsed through the child support agency, because the less time dad gets, the more money mum's entitled to. So without any further ado, this is Simon's story. Welcome to Unspoken Truth, where we give voice to the silenced and shine a light on the hidden injustices tearing families apart. I'm Daniel Bettinelli, and today I'm sharing the story of a loving father that for legal purposes will be known as Simon. Simon is a dedicated teacher and a man who has endured unimaginable pain in his fight to remain a part of his daughters' lives. Simon's story is not just about one man's suffering, it's a stark reminder of a system, family courts, police, and associated institutions that are failing fathers, children, and families across Australia. This is a call for truth, accountability, and mutual respect. Let's listen to Simon's story and stand together for change. Simon is a father of two daughters, aged 7 and 9. He is a PDH, PE and religious education teacher with over 20 years of unblemished service. Simon was married for 10 years. However, Simon's life changed in June 2022 when his wife requested a trial separation. They agreed to a 50-50 shared parenting arrangement, alternating weeks in the family home to provide stability for their girls. For months this worked. Simon and his ex-wife shared childcare duties, attended their daughters' events and maintained daily contact with the girls. But beneath the surface, a storm was brewing when lawyers became involved. In August 2022, Simon's world began to unravel. His ex-wife revealed she had been having an affair with her boss and demanded a divorce. That night, she verbally and physically attacked Simon, hurling insults, throwing objects, and even handing him a knife, urging him to take his own life. Devastated, Simon left the house, only to shortly thereafter crash his car in a moment of distress. While he was in the hospital, his ex-wife called the police, falsely claiming that he was a danger to himself and to others. This set off a chain of events that would strip Simon of his daughters, his reputation, and his peace. False allegations and a system stacked against him over the past 3 years. Simon has faced dozens of false allegations, 2 arrests, 2 apprehended domestic violence orders, both later dismissed as baseless. He's been denied contact with his daughters for months at a time, 4 months in 2023, 9 months of only phone calls in 2024, and now 7 months and counting in 2024-25. All this while in direct violation of family court orders, without any concern of the children's best interest or any potential breaches by the mother. Simon has spent over $150,000 defending himself in criminal court matters regarding false domestic and family violence allegations, and $350,000 plus in the family court jurisdiction, with ongoing costs of $1,000 per week. Despite family court orders in July 2024 granting 50-50 custody, Simon's ex-wife reneged within 3 months, manipulating school staff and a counsellor to file reports against him, again cutting him off from his girls. Simon's ex-wife has weaponised the system, exploiting her connections. Her sister, a police officer, and her partner, a senior figure in the Catholic school system. Despite Simon reporting physical and emotional abuse, coercive control, and even revenge porn sent to his workplace, the New South Wales Police dismissed his complaints, citing training that only recognises women as victims of coercive control. The family court system has been no better, with judges ignoring evidence, delaying hearings, and failing to hold his ex-wife accountable for breaching court orders. Simon's daughters have been coerced into testifying against him, manipulated by their mother, and forced to miss school to prevent contact with their father. The trauma inflicted on these girls forced to grow up too fast, had their childhood stolen, is absolutely heartbreaking. As a father who's walked through a similar hell for 9 years, Simon's story cuts deep. I know the soul-crushing grief of being torn from your children based on lies, the sleepless nights staring at empty walls where their drawings and pictures once hung, and the sting of being treated as guilty without any evidence. Like Simon, I've faced a system that has been designed to break fathers and families, leaving our children as collateral damage. Simon's resilience mirrors my own resolve to keep fighting, not with bitterness, but with a fierce commitment to truth and justice for our kids. Simon's pain is my pain, and it's the pain of countless fathers silenced by an intentionally destructively designed system. Simon's story exposes a system designed to destroy families, not to protect them. Family courts prioritise conflict over resolution, dragging cases out for years while parents like Simon spend their life savings fighting for their children. Money that should be used to create positive memories and holidays for Simon and his girls. But police are politically instructed and fail to investigate false allegations, especially when conflicts of interest, like an ex-wife's sister on the force, go unchecked. Schools meant to be safe havens become battlegrounds when staff are heavily influenced by personal connections and a few crocodile tears from a mother. And all children, the ones we're supposed to protect the most, become collateral damage. Alienated, manipulated, and scarred because of a political legal narrative that all women should be believed, irrespective of the evidence. Every week, 47 men in Australia die by suicide, many driven to despair by parental alienation, false accusations, and a system that treats fathers as guilty until they can afford to prove their own innocence. Simon has faced this despair, arrested without cause, humiliated in front of his children, and vilified in his workplace, yet he stands resilient, fighting not just for his daughters, but for every father and child caught in this nightmare. This is not about men versus women, it's about truth versus lies, justice versus corruption, and love versus division. Simon's story, like mine and so many others, is a plea for accountability, a system where allegations are investigated, not assumed, where children's best interests come before profit or politics, and where no parent is erased from their child's life without actual evidence. We need to expose the family court system and police practices for the systemic abuse that it is. We need laws that protect victims but don't create new ones by punishing the innocent for speaking the truth. We need mutual respect between men and women so no child is emotionally orphaned and no family is torn apart by fear, manipulation, or intimidation. To every listener, parent, man or woman, I ask you to stand with Simon, with me, and with the countless families silenced by this corrupt system. Share your stories, demand change, join mutual respect to rebuild a society where love, truth, and unity prevail. For the 47 men we lose each week, for the children losing their parents, and for the future we must protect, we cannot afford to stay silent.